Doctor Strange brings a whole new level of lore to the MCU. For me, this film has a massive resemblance to the first Thor movie, as they both bring in the more mystical side of the original Marvel comics, and both are fairly mediocre. Regarding that, Doctor Strange dives into the deep end of the magical realm, with some amazing new effects and some fascinating new dimensions. Not to mention the cape. I love the cape.
There is the street level narratives of the Marvel Universe. There is the cosmic level, which Thor and Guardians and the Avengers have taken us to. But there is a very important supernatural side. Doctor Strange is our perfect entry point into that.
Production for a Doctor Strange movie goes all the way back to 1986, with some drafts being created but never finding a distributor. This changed in 2014 when Kevin Feige hired Scott Derrickson to direct an MCU solo film. Usually known for his horror background, he did a pretty spectacular job. The screenwriter this time around is Jon Spites, known for writing films like Passengers and Prometheus, with his recent screenplays being Dune Part 1 and 2. The effects in this film are wild. Feige and Derrickson wanted a Steve Ditko, Stan Lee era of visualization for the film, and in my opinion, it's the best thing about this movie. The use of the mirror dimension is a mind-boggling Inception type effect. My favourite all-round scene though is during the first time meeting the Ancient One. You really feel as though you've been shot off to another universe while watching that. You can see Derrickson's former horror background, such as the fingers that start sprouting new hands over and over. It's a bad trip.
What's in that tea? Psilocybin? LSD?
It's just tea.
With Benedict Cumberbatch, his depiction of Stephen Strange is fantastic. He fits the personality perfectly. His arrogance and desperation to be cured are what make it so good. Cumberbatch wasn't the only choice, however. Marvel was having trouble getting him to agree to the contract as he had other projects that demanded his time. So they were also looking at people like Ethan Hawke, Ewan McGregor, Matthew McConaughey, Jake Gyllenhaal, Colin Farrell, Jared Leto, and finally Joaquin Phoenix, along with some others. But seeing as Derrickson and Feige wanted Benedict Cumberbatch so badly, they completely shifted the production to fit around him, allowing Cumberbatch to join the project. Throughout the film, it's fun to see Strange's slow transformation into a more compassionate and wise sorcerer, willing to sacrifice himself multiple times to save the world.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Strange's outfit is very similar to the comics, featuring the Cloak of Levitation and the Eye of Agamotto, otherwise known as the Time Stone. He was pretty dripped out for his first movie, huh? His powers are also fascinating to see here, even if they're just a couple of spells, but I found that to be a compelling aspect of the film. He is training after all, and the fact he only knows a few tricks puts him in a dangerous position. We get a unique take on the Ancient One from the comics, portrayed by Tilda Swinton. I have zero problems with this. I think her presence is what makes this film feel so original. The tough love technique she uses on Strange is fantastic. It bodes well with his own arrogance and gets through to him. She ultimately dies by Kaecillius, although she seems pretty chill about it. I think it's because she has found her successor in Strange. Also, her death created a heartfelt way to implement the astral plane, as time goes slowly there, giving her a moment to say goodbye to Strange. Talking of Kaecillius, Mads Mikkelsen depicts him in an intimidating way, but Mads could have portrayed a much more interesting character in the MCU, and I still stand by that. With Kaecillius, he feels like a bog-standard villain and seems to have just been a vessel for Dormammu's dark magic, intending to merge the dark dimension with Earth. Once Strange makes a bargain with Dormammu, Kaecillius is horrifically sent to the dark dimension. As they ascend upwards, you can see a purple light emitting from their head, making people believe they became the mindless ones from the comics. Some supporting characters such as Rachel McAdams' Christine Palmer, Chiwetel Ejiofor's Baron Mordo, and Benedict Wong's portrayal as Wong were a crucial part of the plot. Although I do feel as though both Christine and Mordo were the most stale aspects of the film, not having as much exposition as the rest of the cast. Wong, however, was a delight as he brought a lot, if not all, of the laughs.
Do you ever laugh?
No.
So this film has a lot of connections to the wider Marvel universe that make this feel like a genuine addition to the MCU. such as the Eye of Agamotto, which, like I've covered, is the Time Stone. We previously had a passing mention of Strange back in the Winter Soldier, as Hydra had used Armin Zola's database to see who could be an upcoming threat.
Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange, anyone who's a threat to Hydra.
This film also sets a decent groundwork for the multiverse, as different dimensions and realities are introduced, guiding the way for Phase 4. An Easter egg that I find the most fascinating that links to the multiverse is when Baron Mordo talks of a relic called the Staff of the Living Tribunal.
This is the staff of the Living Tribunal.
The Living Tribunal is a three-headed cosmic entity that oversees all realities. It has also made an appearance throughout Phase 4, like in Loki, Thor Love and Thunder, and coincidentally Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I love this one because of how subtle yet important it is to the grand scale of the MCU. The post-credits of the movie showed us Thor talking to Strange in the Sanctum. I remember that being a really exciting teaser, but the fact it's ripped straight from Ragnarok makes it feel lazy. The last credit scene features Baron Mordo declaring that there are too many sorcerers as he steals the magic from an unwilling guy. This seems to be leading to the same arc that Mordo has in the comics, although we still haven't had any payoff to this scene. Hopefully we get something in Doctor Strange 3. Lastly, Stan Lee gets his usual cameo appearance, this time reading a book on the bus. The book is actually a 1954 essay on psychedelics called The Doors of Perception, which fits nicely in with the trippy effects we see throughout the film. I won't lie to you, this film wasn't my favourite through Phase 3, and I can't put my finger on why. It could be due to the ordinary villain, but at the same time I loved the inclusion and handling of Dormammu. It could be Stephen Strange, as he's not the most lovable guy since he's so stubborn, but then again he does commend himself by the end. It's a tricky one, and I think it's a really strong origin story. Rewatching it for the review, I've come to notice there isn't as much humour as there is in, say, Ant-Man, but it makes sense. The protagonist is a stoic guy, and not every movie needs humour, but that may be the main reason people don't return to this film. All in all, the movie has some incredible highlights. The ending with Dormammu is what took this film to another level. And it was smart to use the Time Stone to manipulate the villain instead of there just being a big brawl like every other Marvel movie. Talking of the Time Stone, its utilization here is insane. The scene where he uses it in Hong Kong has some of the most satisfying effects I've seen. It reminds me of the Harry Potter spell that fixes everything, you know? Reparo, it's Reparo. So considering its flaws, it's a magical addition to the MCU. Yes, it could have been better in places, but it really is just opening a door to a whole new realm of possibilities. And what they gave us is a perfect balance of the MCU we've come to love and the wackiness of wizardry.